All right, everyone. Welcome to Across the Spectrum, episode 4. This is one of your hosts, Infernal Spyro.
I'm Khoa.
I'm Digz. Our intros are always gonna be ridiculous.
It builds character. It's how you know it's real.
Right. It's unscripted.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth of it.
How you know it's legit.
Super legit. What are we talking about today?
Consoles, particularly the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
Right. What?
Overall, you know, overall features, hardware, the whole 9 yards. We're kind of going through everything and sharing our opinions on both consoles and, if we are interested in trying to get them or not.
Yeah. The new consoles are coming out a couple weeks from now, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy
Actually,
if you think about it.
it's like 2.5 weeks.
Pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, just thinking about I still feel like my PS4 is kind of new to me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I have an Xbox One S, but it's just here collecting dust.
Yeah, my PS4 is exclusively used for Netflix and Crunchyroll at the moment, so
Yeah.
I've been playing on PC a lot recently. I haven't had my PS Plus membership in like a year, I think, year and a half maybe.
Oh wow.
Man,
you're not a real gamer, Khoa.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should be a part of this podcast anymore.
All right, shut down the podcast.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
This is Khoa's departure episode. I'm just kidding.
Later, everyone.
Yeah, I'm kind of like.
All right, I'm back.
I'm kind of on a similar thing with Digz here, where I bought my PS4 late, and originally I had the Xbox first, and I waited until the price went down for me to get it. It was like a bundle with Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Unity. They had like the 2 game bundles and stuff like that, and then I bought a refurbished PS4 like a couple of years ago.
Nothing wrong with it.
Because most of the time, like when it comes to fighting games, everything's kind of just slowly etching towards PlayStation, or at least that's what they're focusing on. And like even for tournaments and everything like that, for a while I had to use an Xbox controller with a Brooks converter until I actually got the PlayStation, so I could actually get used to playing that particular console for tournament. Right. So it's kind of it's weird, but
I don't know actually.
I was like, go on.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, this story's getting good. I just remember I used to see you at tournaments. I'm like, is he really fucking playing on an Xbox controller? Like,
I mean, I guess it technically it's a little more comfortable. It kind of performs for your hand better.
You think so?
I mean, I grew up on shooters, so for the most part, it seemed to be the most comfortable controller for me. And in terms of like the actual D-pad, I actually prefer it over the current like PS5 controllers, because they're kind of PS5? Lacking in certain aspects, or they're prone to breaking down quickly. Yeah, I don't want to keep purchasing like $60 controllers and stuff like that. And then even now with like the current generation, if these new controllers end up having like particularly the same issues that the PS4 controllers had, like I don't want to be like, they're a little bit more pricier now, just like how they're trying to increase prices on games. It's if like they need to be a little bit more durable, and that's one of the actual things that I'm worried about going into like the next generation of consoles. If accessories and stuff like that, if they're actually meant to last and they're durable enough.
Okay, maybe I lied. Maybe the Xbox is a little too bulky now that I think about it. Because I'm on my PS4. I'm on my PS4 controller right now, and I do think it's a pretty good. If it was a little bit bigger, I'm assuming the PS5, because the PS5 it kind of looks like a mix between a PS4 with a little bit. It's a little bit thicker, So I'm thinking maybe that will The what?
It's
the handle
comfortable.
area.
I'm holding both of them up right now. I have an Xbox One S controller, the Gears of War one that's dark navy teal, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's
Oh
fancy.
yeah, it's like
And
the
then-
Fancy
Atlas.
Digz.
And then the God of War silver one. But I
Let me see,
think
'cause-
when it comes to the Xbox controller, I think it's comfortable. The buttons feel like more
responsive.
I guess clicky.
On
know what I
the PS4, you said?
The Xbox.
Oh, the Xbox.
one.
Ah, okay.
I don't mind it, you know what I mean? But it's still the offset joysticks for me was always like weird.
Oh yeah, one's like higher up, right, or something.
Yeah, but the buttons do feel clickier, including the D-pad, which I can see why with like some people who play fighting games on this would be easier for them because being able to tell what direction you're actually pressing things in is easier to like recognize. It's kind of like with joysticks, you have the gates to kind of help you out.
Right.
With what direction you're doing. So, like, if you have a circle gate, you don't know where you're going, kind of just because it's like a circle. But an octagon or like square gates, you hella know which side you're hitting. Whereas
Diagonals and stuff.
the PS4 controller, like everything feels softer, but I think that's because of all the pressure sensitivity mods that they have inside of them. Because I remember there was one game where it's like, press it harder. And I'm like, what?
No, that's what I always thought it was like, I felt like it was always instinctive. But then once you really think about it, you're like, damn, you're right. Like you have to kind of hold X lightly or something. And you really press it when you want to like throttle. So
yeah,
it's
I
very
think
interesting.
Heavy Rain did that, didn't it? It's like you have to hold it down super hard, and it's like press it X harder. And I'm like, I don't want to break the controller. But I think that's probably like a double-edged sword in terms of the PlayStation controller, where it's dope as a mod, but then at the same time it makes it crappy in design that it can be destroyed easier. You know what I mean?
I guess
currently I use the Astro C40 controller, so like I get the best of both worlds and being able to switch between like PlayStation and Xbox style, where I can switch the modules up.
Right.
So if there's an issue with like the analog or the D-pad, I can just easily replace it. I don't have to buy a brand new controller or anything like that. I can just buy the modules from the Astro website and just boom, replace it.
That's actually really useful. Yeah, you fuck up like a PS4 controller. I mean, you could try to find like some off parts somewhere, but I mean,
if you're not a professional or if you can't find someone to be able to do it, because I mean, like the PS4, because there's like when the original ones came out, they're made differently. They kind of have like this weird glass sort of thing that's like difficult to kind of put back when you take apart the controller and stuff like that. The new ones are a lot more easier, but the old ones that had that kind of like a half circle for like the light and stuff like that, it was like a big huge like piece of glass. It's a little bit bigger than how it is now with the current PS4 controllers, to where it made it difficult to where it was really hard to take it out and put it back in. Yeah, so when I actually went to fix the problem, because I originally did have a problem with like an original PS4 controller, and I managed to fix the analog because the analog was the main problem with it. It was difficult to put that particular part in. That was the only one that I worried about. And I guess they took that feedback and, made it a little bit more simplistic. But it seems like the new models wear down quicker.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, like a lot of these companies, they don't really have like that. They're not thinking about the average consumer, right? Or I mean, they're thinking about the average person, and the average person is not gonna be modding their controller or trying to like change stuff up. They're trying to make money, just like Apple chargers. I'm sure they make Apple chargers especially thin because they know people are gonna mess it up. Short something, break some wires, and then like have to buy a new one, because that's how they make a lot of money, man.
Or like they give their kids the phones and stuff like that, and the kids are like messing with it.
It's so bad. My DS, not my DS, my Game Boy SP charger, it still works to this day perfectly, and I abused the fuck out of it, but I get my Apple lightning cable that lasts like maybe 3 months before it starts like tearing. I'm like, geez, man, where's the quality?
The quality is there. It's just that okay, no, it's not there. At least not for Apple. I feel like they do that on purpose, which is why they make all their proprietary hardware.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like their ports.
Like we're trying to save the environment.
Yeah, but you have to pay $60 for a new charger. I was like, what? I remember when I still had my first MacBook, the charger died. Like it didn't even like the cord was fine. You know, I didn't have kids at the time or anything, so they didn't destroy it, but it just died. Like I guess it was too old or like whatever. Anyway, it didn't work. So I went to one of the Apple stores, and my thing was like 2 days before it expired from the warranty, and I was like sick, so I got the charger for free.
Nice,
but if I didn't, the charger would have cost me like $90, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here,
charger's crazy, man.
It's dumb. And I was like, yo, if this was a regular laptop, I could have got this for $5 off some fucking charger replacement store, right?
Well, even the PS4 controllers are really expensive too. I mean, in my eyes, I don't remember how much they cost.
It's like
before.
The same as a game.
Yeah, it is. It's like what, 65, 70 or something.
It's like $59.99.
The special ones are like 70, like those new
64 or like $70. Yeah,
and the special colorways or whatever, right?
Yeah. They're usually on sale a lot now though, like $35, $40. They've been well. That's only because the PS4 is ending its life cycle pretty much, because it's already. If you think about it, it's already been 7 years since that shit came out.
Yeah, that's true.
And then most definitely during the the Black Friday sales, because a lot of retailers are doing their stuff early because they're not actually going to open, due to the situation going on. So. A lot of I think Best Buy started doing their deals early. I think Target is planning to do that. I think GameStop was planning to do that as well. Like they're doing weekly deals leading up to Black Friday. So that's probably like the best time to get a controller. But at the same time, it's like they're planning to sell the PS5 accessories early, which is around in 6 days actually. They're planning to do it on October 30th.
Wow.
So the controllers, the mics, all that other stuff, the accessories are being sold early. And originally it was only going to be for Best Buy only, but GameStop was confirmed to be doing that as well. So I don't know if other retailers are following suit, like Walmart or Target, but it seems to at least 2 are confirmed so far.
So what is PS5 doing? I think I was reading something about the plates being interchangeable or whatever. Like people are already making custom plates for them and shit. Or the wings or the collars or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, just because I saw the video where they kind of he showed you how to take it apart. And stuff like that.
Yeah, that shit is
and
fine.
Just seeing that, that's easy. In terms of customizing or some type of it's any customization just makes it super duper easy compared to I don't know, PS4 or something. You kind of have to break it apart. I don't know.
I like how Khoa pointed back, but then it's the Among Us back so nobody can see.
In the cafeteria, guys at this table right here on this way, this way we're at Medbay.
That's
covering for someone.
Yeah,
but I mean, at the same time, I think that kind of saves money on them having to create special editions for next gen consoles, because most of the time it's aside from a bigger storage or something like that, you can just make your own kind of unique PlayStation 5, and they can just sell plates and just make more money off of that than making exclusive limited editions or something like that, unless it's a really popular game. God of War or something like that. I don't see them making as many special edition PlayStation 5s as they did for PS4. Because PS4 saw all over the place. You guys see
sure they will.
1 terabyte.
It won't be like the maybe it won't be as easily moddable as the other ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you never know though, because although the plates, you can take it off, or I mean, to what Spyro was saying, they can just sell different plates. But I feel like they would probably include some special thing too. They wouldn't just decorate the plates. I feel like they would do something else too, just to make it. Because then otherwise people would just sell off the plates, right? Yeah. Or they would just customize their own plate to look just like it. I'm assuming that they would probably customize everything about it as well, including the middle section or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to do is allow pretty much any type of custom artist to submit work that can get officially licensed and then have it produced that way. Because that'd be dope. Because
You
then
think they
it's
do that?
like, Sony's weird when it comes to stuff like that. You've seen their bug program, right? The one where it's like if you report a bug, you get fucking $10,000.
What? What was this?
Look
Wait,
it up.
hold up.
Well, look at it. Okay, this
Hold
is
up.
look. It's not like a small bug. It's like exploitable bugs where pretty much one of the dudes from like the modding scene for the PlayStation scene, he pretty much found the exploit for the OS and the kernel that would allow jailbreaking on the PS4. And he reported it to PlayStation or Sony, and they gave him $10,000. And then they patched it, obviously, but this exploit was already also released to the modding scene, so they already had it and had like workarounds. So the PS4 is still moddable, but Sony's doing their best to try to keep it unmoddable. They keep releasing
Their
patches
copyrights and all that sort of stuff. They even have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I look like I found the rewards here. I mean, just based on this article, it was June 24th this year. So if it's a PlayStation Network, if it's a low bug, I guess, or low urgency or whatever, it's $100. Medium's 400, highs 1,000, critical is 3,000. But if it's just relating to just the PS4, low is 500, medium's 2,500, high is 10,000, and critical is 50,000.
Wow.
So man, you better start looking at some.
Hold up.
Go look at those vulnerabilities real quick.
Yeah, this is for people who like hook up their PS4 and try to like do whatever they can to crack it, and any type of vulnerabilities. Like, how simple it is to mod things now. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So this is coming from somebody who's modded like all their systems dating back to the PlayStation 1. Like, everything had to be a hardware. Or like a hardware mod. Like my PlayStation 1, I had to take it to some guy to solder on a chip that would allow it to read burned discs. PS2 required the network adapter that you hook up into the back of it that puts a hard drive into it. Then you put a software on it that allows the PS2 to read the hard drive ISOs, like the games that you ripped onto it. But the PS3 and the PS4, the Vita, you just fucking go into their browser and you download some exploit, and it's like, ta-da, jailbroken.
There you go. We did it for you.
Exactly. So, that's where these vulnerabilities are, and these dudes that find the shit are like ridiculously, like, they're geniuses, man. So the guy who reported it kind of did it out of spite to the PS scene, because they're being assholes to him. He's like, fine.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he's like, you want to be a dick to me? I'm just gonna report this then to Sony. And people even feel like, his response was justified, because I guess, common term for the scene or community is they're toxic. But that's only because you have all these new people coming into the scene, and these dudes who are finding these cracks have been in the community since, like, 2005 and earlier. So these people actually feel like the 10,000 that this guy was rewarded wasn't even enough, because now Sony has prevented millions of dollars worth of modifications, or what would be considered illegal modifications, on their hardware. So people feel like he should have gotten at least like $500,000 or like even more.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for him it wasn't even about the money though at that point, right?
Right. He's just like, yeah, you want to fuck with me? Okay.
I'm gonna take away all your money.
Do you happen to know like even about anything they said to him, or was it just a dispute, or?
No, that's actually what inspired. Or are you talking about like what the scene said to the dude who found the exploit? I don't know the whole drama.
Well, I mean, just like why he did it in the first place.
Yeah, I just think he was kind of tired of like the stuff going on, and he's just like, you know what, fuck this, I'm done with this. Like, reported it to Sony on Twitter, And they responded, "Thanks. Here's $10,000 for your findings." And
What's your
then,
Venmo?
yeah,
It's like
and then
PayPal, you know,
2 months
and Cash
later,
App.
something like that, they started the bounty program or whatever that you're reading about. So
yeah.
pretty nuts.
Because they don't have good Q&A people to do that, you know.
It's not just well, it's not that their Q&A is really dope because that's what I used to do. But what we were originally talking about is the designs, right, for the plates.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them doing something like that because they're trying to open it up to, you know, their people creating things for the system. So I wouldn't be surprised if you can submit like a custom plate to it and they'd be like, "Oh shit, this is tight. This is God of War. License it." You know what I mean? So that's what Andy does, right? 725 for Kwanba. He's like, "I designed this stick, submit it to Sony. If they like it, they license it." That's why the Obsidian's an officially licensed Sony product.
Oh shit! Ooh.
Fancy.
Yeah. So
okay.
Also,
it kind of, you know, aside from like main games and stuff, if people end up wanting like, you know, other stuff, like other like exclusives that, you know, don't really get much shine or anything like that, they can easily sell it for that too. They can kind of cater to a much wider audience than, you know, kind of like the main games that, you know, obviously Sony would, you know, be used to making, like God of War or Ratchet and Clank, that sort of thing. They can just do other stuff too.
Exactly. That's cool though. What is the Xbox doing anything like that?
No.
Like,
I mean, it looks like
a
mini fridge, so I mean, it's kind of hard to like customize something like that.
I forgot what it looks like. What is it called again?
Box.
Xbox. Xbox what? Series
X.
Like even Snoop Dogg got a fridge, bro. Like he recently got a fridge, like this week from Xbox.
Yeah. This looks like
funny. It just looks like a box.
Like a box.
A speaker. It looks like
it kind of does look like a speaker, like the grates on top, right?
It's like my Beats licensed speaker from Xbox.
Xbox controller got a little thicker too.
Yeah. It's funny because the PlayStation one actually looks a little more like the Xbox one, and now the Xbox one is like, "Oh, you guys like thick? We gonna give you thick,
extra."
Yeah, actually, yeah. Look, Series X and Series S.
Yeah, so they have two versions, like just like how PS5 does, but both the Xbox Series X and the PS5, they're both $500. But in terms of their alternate versions, like the PS5's digital only is like 400, and then the Xbox like Series S is like 300. So there's like a $100 difference between like the alternative versions if you don't want to get the main console.
What's the difference with the Series S? I haven't read anything about like the Xbox because I'm not like a Xbox fanboy. I have Xbox to play the exclusives, but then everything that's exclusive now is on PC. So
yeah, to be fair, it's like in terms of the original Xbox Series X, it's pretty similar in terms of stats. I don't know about the Series S because they don't really talk about it too much.
Okay.
I know
but it is
when
a
it comes to
version.
When it comes to PlayStation, they're really pushing heavily on like the digital stuff. And I think like the digital version is the one that's been selling out pretty quickly.
But from what I remember seeing on the digital one, there's no hardware differences other than the Blu-ray drive missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same exact thing.
Yeah, they just.
But you're just paying $100 more to get the disc, right?
The Blu-ray,
yeah.
Are you guys? I'm sorry. Did you guys pre-order?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
No,
I'm gonna see if I can get one for my friend. I told you about that. He's because usually they have big launch parties at Sony. Since they're not doing one this year because of COVID, everybody's just getting a free PS5
right off the bat. Like, hey,
yeah, they're like the CEO like texted everybody and like, well, sorry guys, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen like a Sony launch party for like their first titles and shit, like Spider-Man and God of War and shit like that. They're ridiculous. They get like life-size models and they set up like a stage in like the building and stuff like that. And yeah,
that's actually pretty tight.
Since they're not doing that, everybody's just getting a free PS5. Fuck it, right?
I feel like they probably even saved even more money by doing that. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get a PS5, but you know, for them it's like nothing compared to like the huge event, having people food, all the stuff. Models, life-size models, jeez.
Yeah, probably not even like the voice actors and maybe with the cosplayers and stuff like that, but not just models, but like, you know, structures and shit like that. Because I think I remember seeing like Uncharted ones before, and they had like, you know, like a cliff built in and ropes, and they had like a Nathan Drake dude hanging, and it was nuts. So I was like, what? That's pretty crazy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because from what I'm seeing here, it's pretty much the same exact thing. The only difference is the storage.
For the S?
Yeah, so the Series X is a 1 terabyte like SSD storage, and then the Series S is like 512 gigabytes. So it's like almost half. I mean, that's not including the fact that, you know, with the software and everything like that, you probably could only, you know, you could be getting like maybe 400 or 300 gigs available to you. So I don't know. It just seems like you might as well just get the fridge over the Bluetooth white speakers.
Right. That one legit looks like a speaker. It just
the fridge over
it was like a DJ table, like little mini DJ.
Yeah. If you guys were to order either one, like let's say either order Xbox or the PS4, if you're gonna order the PS5, sorry, would you guys get the one with the hardware or where you can use the disc, or would you get the digital, or whatever the difference is for the Xbox?
It's low key. I mean, I still have stuff that I would prefer to collect on disc just for you know, like. Either like for collection purposes or even just like mementos and stuff. Like usually for Tekken, I've owned every physical copy of the game, and I wanted to buy a physical copy when 7 came out as well, so I can kind of just, you know, it's usually for games that I really enjoyed, or, you know, at least like a series that has like a track record of, you know, being a favorite in my opinion. So I usually try to get like hard copies for those, and then, you know, go digital for like stuff that's, you know, like on the side or something like that, or something that's not exactly, you know, worth keeping.
Right.
What about you, Khoa?
Me, I feel like I'm more the digital life now. It's a lot more. I think it's more convenient, to be honest. Like, I don't want to like sift through my piles of, you know, fucking cases. open up like a Tekken case, be like, oh, this is Blaze Blue. Wait, where's my Blaze Blue one?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I mean, I prefer digital. I think it's just way more convenient. Maybe even lazy, you know.
It turns your console into like a powerhouse for games, you know what I mean? Like you've seen my PS4 library. I have 600 games. Like you guys scroll through that motherfucker. Yeah, so it's like, oh, bring my PS4. I don't have to bring my PS4. Let me just log into my account. Here's my library, you know.
Pick and download.
Although since you know I do play a lot of video games, my general mentality for physical and digital is like, well, first I would probably get the one with the disc because or the Blu-ray drive, only because I still buy like used games. The ones that I'm not gonna play again, I usually sell or give to other people, you know what I mean? So it's like for games that I'm gonna keep, digital all the way, like fuck it, buy it. I'm the same like Spyro. I bought all the Tekken collector's editions. Like I have the statue for Tekken 7, the Kazuya and the Heihachi statue. Tekken 6, it was the joystick and like posters and stuff like that. I think every collector's edition like did the joystick because Tekken 2 had the cheap little yellow and gray one. But even for like God of War and things like that, I always try to get the collector's edition. Final Fantasy, collector editions.
The Cloud with the motorcycle.
Hell yeah.
And then the second game's gonna be Sephiroth.
But If I'm just gonna run through the game one time, like I don't know, a story-based game that's kind of short or whatever. Like I don't want to spend $60 on digital and then be like, oh, it only took me 2 hours to play. Now I'm gonna have a digital game that I'm never gonna touch again.
Yeah,
so
that's
that's my point for buying like a used game, because then I could just send it back into the cycle, and that's where I think like GameFly comes in really dope, and even GameStop for their used shit, even though they don't give you the cases and their manuals and stuff like that. GameFly is actually pretty tough with it. Like you have to have everything with it if you're trying to trade it into them.
Mm-hmm. That's actually really smart. I don't think I'd be trading games like that, but if you're, going to be getting old games and stuff like that, it's definitely cost effective, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Like recently, I think I've been meaning to play, for the longest time is Days Gone, but I wasn't gonna spend $60 on it, and even now I think it's just dropped down to 20 digitally. So like at that price point, I would buy it, but if I can get it for $5, play it in a day, and then return it for free,
okay. Why not, right? And then you'd be like, oh yeah, something wrong with the skipping at this one part. I don't know what's going on. Can I get the return for this?
Right.
It's actually going to be a launch title for PS5, like through PS Plus. So
yeah,
it's like
that's pretty dope
compatible.
What they're doing. So they're like taking like a fat library of PlayStation titles and just giving it to the PlayStation 5 owners that have PS
like
Plus.
God of War, Days Gone, like a lot of
Spider-Man. I think a lot of their first titles yeah. That's gonna be dope.
If I could pre-order one, or if I could get one, like
I'm not even too worried about. Okay, I mean, I know there's like obviously the big hype of like getting the systems and everything like that, and the launch titles, and obviously the exclusives and everything. But I'm not too worried about getting it later, because I every time a console comes out, you guys always hear about those bugs.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to deal with that. Like I'll wait a few cycles and then pick it up when it's pretty stable.
Like holiday season or something, like Christmas.
Something like that. Yeah.
Not even that.
It might be like a few
early. Months after. I learned my lesson too. Like, I'll wait. You never buy hardware first. I wouldn't say I learned my lesson. I just, I know from watching people do that. Like, oh shit, I need it at launch, and I need to get it right now. Like I pre-ordered and I stood in line for 16 hours to get it, and it was raining and hailing at the same time, and just people I got stabbed and someone got murdered down the street. People just crazy about their stuff, but
they're crazy about shoes, man.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a very long time. The last console that I bought, the first wave of, which I did not regret, was the PlayStation 3 60 gig. That was like the really good one. It had the hardware that was backwards compatible with the PS2. So it also had like the little flip part where you can put in like mini SD cards and shit like that for saving your save files. But unfortunately, that was the one that was prone to the yellow light of death. And when I sent it in to get it fixed, they didn't send me the exact same model back. So that was a little bad. They're like, we upgraded it to the 80 gig, and I was like, I don't give a shit. This isn't the one that has the backwards compatibility.
Did you get your thing back?
They sent it back eventually, because they're like, fine, you can use that one as a loaner or whatever, and then just ship it back. But yeah, that was like the system, and that thing cost me like $800, because it was because the US had two models. I think it was the 20 gig and the 60 gig.
Oh yeah.
The 60 gig was $599, and then I bought. So like with tax alone, that's already like $650, $652 or something like that. And then I bought Resistance with it because that was a launch title, so that was another $60. And then I bought like an extra controller and something else with it, like a SD card or something, because it's like I need to save my shit and transfer it to the computer. And then I was like, damn, I just spent like almost $900 on a console. Damn,
that was right off the bat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I've never done that. Like the PS4, I waited until the second wave came out. PS5, I'm definitely gonna wait, but probably gonna go with the disc-based version. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
bless you.
Thank you.
I blessed him.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really gotten a console on launch either. Normally I waited just like I did with the Xbox, and then eventually when I bought like a PS4 from like GameStop, it's like it was refurbished. It still lasted me. I'm surprised it's like still kicking, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a 500 gig one too, so eventually I had to get like an external hard drive and stuff because I have like a bunch of games too. Not like a ridiculous library like Digz does, but
and sadly that's only my PS4.
Can't finish all of his games.
That's my goal, to finish my backlog before I die.
Right.
Yeah, because like originally when I watched the State of Play, and I went to do errands. And, ironically, one of them was like, I went to a GameStop to like check on some stuff like unrelated to PS5. And then like, I'm waiting at the front because I was trying to buy a game. And like this chick's getting nothing but phone calls the entire time about like PS5 pre-orders. She's by herself, and she's like, even if I could, I would have to get permission from the district manager. And then she's pretty much like a broken record for like 5 straight calls.
Jeez.
I was like, I'm just trying to buy a game. But as soon as I left, it was not long after I checked my Twitter, and then like all of these people are just like, yeah, I got the PS5 secured, bro. Like, thanks Target for the. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm like scrolling again. Then all of a sudden, like apparently they released the pre-orders early on like all the retailers. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah,
and like I missed out, and then I guess like they were planning to reload on Walmart, so like it was like Thursday of that week, so it's like a couple of days after, and so I had it in my cart at Walmart, and I was ready to like pre-order it. Then all of a sudden, like 6 o'clock hit, the whole website just went. Like I couldn't do anything. Like I was trying to click the checkout, like the cart, and I was like, I couldn't do shit. I was like, no. Like,
order 20 of them on accident. Like, oh shit.
So, and then it was like 6:02. Like, and then I refreshed it. It was like all sold out. I was like,
yeah,
GG's, bro. So, I mean, in that particular aspect, it's like I'm not worried about getting it at launch too much. It's just, with the whole like situation going on, how like, even with launch, some people are probably not going to get their PS5s even though they pre-ordered it like the day of. Like they might be getting it late. And so, we don't know how like the second wave's actually going to be when it actually comes out, that, we might be seeing, sold out situations for quite a bit.
Yeah,
because everyone's like staying at home and chilling, and
it's gonna be crazy, man. I think I was reading something earlier. I don't remember. Maybe not earlier today. When I say earlier, it's either like today or like a week ago or something. But I think even the Xbox pre-order launch was like a disaster too. But I didn't read. I didn't read exactly why. I just saw like a couple articles like Xbox pre-orders disastrous, and but I don't know what happened unless you know what happened, Spyro.
It was pretty much the same situation, and even with like the PS5 too. Like they had a website like way back when, it was like a couple of months back before the State of Play and everything like that. Like do it on this website, send your email. Whenever pre-orders go live, we'll send you the link, and then you're kind of like reserving a spot to be able to pre-order a PS5 through like the Sony website. And when these pre-orders got leaked or released early, and then even a couple of weeks after that, people still have said that on Twitter and through different outlets that they have not received that link. And it kind of just it's like, what was the whole point of putting the whole email in? But I mean, like, Xbox had a similar thing. They didn't necessarily have like their own like separate website to do reserve pre-orders or anything like that. All I know is it was just as chaotic as PS5 for like Target, Walmart, everywhere.
Yeah, I think most pre-orders are like that now.
Yeah,
I would say maybe not to the scale that it is now, because
more so,
way more people playing video games now than there is before. But launches are always like nuts.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
Yeah, but now it's just like everybody wants like these consoles. So it's like Spyro is doing fucking clicking on the cart and shit. But and even, by the time he refreshed that page, it was sold out.
It was not even 2 minutes. Yeah. It was all gone.
Yeah, that's your problem, man. You let it get to 2 minutes.
Exactly, dude.
I was trying to
better internet, bro.
I had to click on the thing for like 1 minute.
Should have got some like Chrome plugins or something that click for you, open up like 10 tabs.
Get them scalper bots that like automatically order for me.
You should have asked Digz to write you a script.
I could do it. I could do it.
I mean, even too, like aside from the consoles, on a side note, the capture cards for like the new PCs, like the 30 series, they've been having the same exact problem that the consoles are having too.
This 30 series launch was crazy. Oh my god.
Because like some of my friends in Michigan, they were having the same, like they have like Micro Center over there. And like there's like they're literally explaining that people are literally sitting on rocks, sleeping on them, and like waiting for like the new 30 series. I was like,
man, is that serious?
And even the 30 series had its faults, because when they did all the benchmarking and shit, like there's a bunch of issues with it, heating issues and whatnot, but won't get into that.
Yeah, I thought it was with the higher models though, like the 80
and the 80 and 3090. Yeah, definitely with those, because they're super ridiculous. The 3090 has 24 gigs of video RAM alone. Like that shit to me is like mind blowing. But yeah, it's the same with anything. It's just because it wasn't only because the 30 series just came out. It was the fact that it came out so soon. The 20 series had just come out like only 2 years ago. It usually takes a little longer for the next series to come out in video cards, like release times. But not only that, but this 30 series like low end model shit on the previous series like high end models. You know what I mean? And it hasn't done that since like 2004. So it was something pretty radical in terms of the GPU release dates and history. And that's why it was like everybody who had just gotten the 20 series card felt like they got shit on or got played, just because of what just happened. And the 3080 is what, $600, and the 2080 Ti, which is supposed to be like its equivalent in that series, is like $1,600 or like $1,200. It was stupid.
Yeah.
I would have, if I had gotten a 20 series, I would have been pissed. But thankfully, I got a 1080 Ti, and I was happy. I'm still killing it these days. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at this rate, like most of the people are just saying, like anyone who has like the 20 series, you just might as well just wait for the next model, because obviously it's to a point to where like you might see like the next series sooner or later. You never know these days. Not to mention like. The 30 series has kind of just killed both consoles to a certain extent.
Murder the consoles.
Yeah, it's funny because like a lot of these consoles were talking about like all these, refresh rates and all these like unique features and that sort of stuff. It was kind of like, having like mini PCs in your home, like as they're trying to explain and everything. And it just kind of seems like further down the line that, it might evolve to a point where consoles might not be as much of a thing that PC would be like the new wave, or
That's funny that you mentioned that, because that's kind of one of the things that we're gonna talk about was like, do you guys think that this gen of consoles is the last, or do you feel like consoles will always be around?
Yeah,
it's hard to say. Because you never really predict what will happen, right?
Right.
I think, especially with the quarantine now, I think it's just a lot more common to be, I don't know what really to attribute it to. If it's quarantine, if it's like Twitch, or, a lot of just I don't know, just gaming becoming a lot more like gaming has always been popular, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like now it's like such a staple in everyone's homes. Like it's become such a norm. You know, like back when I was like, I don't want to say back when you were like middle school, right? I don't know
Back in my day.
back in my day.
We were playing with Pokemon cards.
I'm like 27 right now, right? So back in my day, like I mean, kids play games, right? But then as you know, you get a little older, middle school, high school, you know, some people still play games, but it wasn't as like rampant. But now I feel like everyone plays games. Like people that I don't even know, like I know before didn't even touch games. Now they're like streamers and stuff like that.
Now you got rappers and
exactly
in video games,
political figures playing video games.
Yo, AOC on Among Us. You got Soulja Boy streaming too, man. He's over there. T-Pain over there cosplaying as freaking. He's dressed up as
Leroy Smith.
Leroy, yeah. I almost said Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, I think he also did the Rainbow Six Siege thing too. It was like celebrity versus celebrity teams, and like he was one of the leaders too. So he's been like in a. You know, been in it for a minute.
So yeah, he's been in for a while. I just think like the way everything's been going, it's a lot more mainstream now. Like a lot more acceptable. Like way more acceptable.
Mm-hmm. It's because it's like a temporary bridge for social interaction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, like, for sure. Yeah.
People can only do so much with always talking to each other, like, you know, on video calls or digitally like this. It's like, yo, let's play a game together. Like, at least we're doing something together. Like,
you want to play a game?
There's so many options when it comes to it. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Especially like, it's crazy how many people have PCs now. Like, it's mind blowing to me, dude.
That's what I was gonna say too. I mean, along with people becoming more inclined to game, right? That normally wouldn't game. A lot of people have PC builds now that like I never would expect this person to play games. Never expect this person to build a PC. Right. But I think it's starting to become such like a staple. Yeah, like how everyone has like a cell phone. I feel like everyone's gonna eventually just have a PC build in their house. Eventually,
not just like one of these cheesy HP builds.
No,
or whatever. But like these fools got the RGB lights and everything.
It's gonna become the norm. It's gonna be the norm, and
everyone's gonna have Asus laptops and like Alienware and Razers and.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And that's why those things, you know, can inflate the prices. You know, those companies are inflating the prices on things because it's like they're never going to know how much this costs because they're not going to build it on their own. So let's fucking make this system and this hardware and then upscale the pricing, you know, 30%. Like, I'm not trying to pay $200 for a keyboard. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, that's how they take advantage of the people who don't know. But it's cool in a way, too, because more people are exposed to it. You're in the IT field too, Khoa, so now it's like not everybody is as tech illiterate as others. So like now people are like, oh yeah, you know, my CPU is 8 core. Blah, blah. Before you have to be your like to think that computer works this way. It's like riding a bike, and you know?
I mean, I like to think that, but you'd be surprised. But I would say definitely the older generation would have more trouble. Younger generation coming up, I feel like they should definitely have a lot easier of a time in terms of like technology and everything. I mean, that's just kind of a given, right? I mean, you're raised up exposed to all this stuff. You're not really scared to look into different things. When you're older, they're like, I don't know how to do that. Can you do it for me? And I'm like,
different.
Yes.
It's just a different.
It's only my job, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes more of a norm for like classes too, because most of the time when it comes to like school and everything like that, you don't have too many classes when it comes to like technology or, you know, computers and everything like that. It's kind of like a niche. It's not exactly something that's like required in terms of
part of like
it's like
a
an
regular curriculum.
Yeah, it's an elective essentially. It's like a, you know, thing that you want to do if you want specifically to do, you know, technology and stuff as a career. And, you know, I feel like as soon as things become more, you know, apparent that, you know, things are evolving to that state that, you know, it might be a regular class or like a part of the curriculum sooner or later in terms of, you know, like probably like something specific like coding or something like that might not be, but in terms of, you know, basic computer skills and stuff like that, that it might be, you know, more.
This is how you turn it on. This is how you go to the internet.
Double click, you say.
Microsoft Word.
It's like Cobra Kai. I don't know if you guys watch it. It's like, I try to go on the internet. I pressed all the buttons. That show's good. Shout outs to Cobra Kai. No, just kidding. Have you guys seen it?
No, I haven't. I've been meaning to though, but I heard it's good.
It's pretty good. Anyway, it's funny that we're talking about it because, my kids are doing distance learning, and one of them is in TK, transitional kindergarten, and the other one's in first grade, and Brooklyn's on the computer, like clicking around, adjusting her camera, making sure her fucking lighting is good and everything. It's funny. No, not even that. She's like, something's wrong with the browser, and I'm just like,
oh, damn.
How do you even know that word? She knows how to log into her, because the school platform that they use, it links with a Google Class account. You know what I mean? And she knows her password, she knows her email, and types it in, goes on to her Google Meet, goes out of that, goes into her programs that she needs. Even Noriko, she's TK, she's using a tablet that they loaned from school. But even she's like, opening the browser, joining her meeting. Hi, everybody. Muting herself and unmuting herself to talk. And it's just crazy. And I'm just like, bro, when I was 4 years old, I probably didn't even touch like a controller yet or even how to use the remote. She's over here like searching the internet for videos and trying to do homework and stuff.
She's like, Dad, the DNS settings are just all fucked up, man.
She's like, what's wrong with the internet? Sometimes like the Wi-Fi gets overloaded or whatever. It's not our Wi-Fi, it's the school's Wi-Fi, because everybody's trying to connect at the same time, like when school starts, so their servers start to bug out. But she's like, what's wrong with the computer? Why are the video freezing? And I'm like, I can't do anything about that. Like, our network's fine. Like, I'm an IT master. But yeah, it's nuts, like generationally, for us. Like, we actually didn't experience a pandemic like this where we were forced to stay home. And even if we did, like, the way that we would communicate with each other is by phone. Like, let me call you. What's your number? Like, like, well, maybe my old ass. You guys, I think maybe your time when you were in school, you probably had like Messenger and stuff like that too. But
like AOL.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
AOL, freaking ICQ, IRC, all that shit. But
dial up.
Yeah, now it's just kind of like generationally different with the young ones knowing this stuff. And I do know that computer classes are part of some curriculums, because I think one of my friends, like cousins or nephews or something like that, was trying to ask me about coding, and I'm like, how old is he? He's like, oh, he's 10. They're teaching that, they're teaching like basic HTML and shit in class, so that this is how you make a basic website. In the 90s, HTML tags.
Like,
man, 10 years old. What grade is that? It's
like fourth, right? Fourth or fifth grade.
Fourth grade.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little. Yeah. Because I was thinking about the MySpace days, man. You had to learn, wasn't MySpace HTML too?
Yeah.
Everything was mostly HTML and JavaScript, but for those custom profiles, you use CSS.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You give them the right incentive, they'll do anything, man. My cousin there, she's not really like tech efficient, but she's over there trying to make her banner, her music crazy. Look, I made a top 12 instead of a top 8. So stuff on MySpace. So that's really cool. I mean, yeah, technology is much more rampant and important in our society nowadays.
Yeah,
shoot. I feel like a lot of people were just scared to even do PowerPoint presentations, man. They didn't even know what to do, man. Making slides and, putting up pictures and then like cropping and then, putting text and like it's just a whole mixture of like, a lot of skills had to be, represented to like, make a project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now everything's so evolved. Now you got like all these different programs like
shit, you don't even need Excel anymore.
Yeah, you don't even need the Microsoft Office stuff anymore.
Give me my Google. I think before too, there was like a stigma of like, oh, if you use computers, you're a nerd, or like,
dude, I've been saying, that's
nerd.
what this whole boom. I mean, I'm not really salty about it, but you think about it, it's like, damn, man, I used to get made fun of for doing stuff like this. Now, these same people. I think what happens is like, we think about what in school, right, or something, playing games, or something. It's not exactly cool, but everyone did it. Right. Watching anime wasn't exactly cool, but some people watch that shit. And then when they get older, it starts to become that nostalgia thing, and everyone's kind of posting about it. Like, oh, this guy's posting about it, and this guy's posting about it, and they're like, I've been loved anime, and they post all this stuff, and it becomes like hella mainstream. I think a lot of it's just because people started to not care as they got older, right?
Right.
And that's why everything's just so popular nowadays, man. Anime, like the cool things become to like anime, right? It's such a normal thing to like anime now. It's such a normal thing to play games now. It's pretty crazy.
And it's because everything's so accessible. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, anime? Let me go on to Crunchyroll. Or let me find a site to stream something. It's like, oh, learn how to play a video game? Check YouTube real quick. So, yeah, it makes more sense for those things that people used to get made fun of for. You know, people even made fun of me for making like Gunpla back in the day, and I'm like, what? These things are dope. Like, yeah, but they're robots. They're stupid robots. And but now it's like they're
dolls. Yeah, like a 50-foot Gundam in their backyard, right? Like preparing for Godzilla. Like,
and then everyone's like, I love Japan. Oh my god!
Did you see the live Gundam and whatever? Like, nah, dude. Like, you were making fun of me.
Gundams. They don't even know it's a Gundam. It's like, man, you see that Transformer, bro?
Right?
It's just like,
what is this Ninja Turtle robot? Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, also, like you said, people start to care less about what others think when you get older. You know, you just do what you like and do you.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of fact is when you're younger, you're just like, you try to do what fits in, and if that thing's not in right now, I mean, you can still secretly like it, but doesn't necessarily mean you be going around school being like, hey man, you see the tune-in exams at Naruto, that new season? Oh my god, so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's it's the same thing with gaming too. Now a lot of more people are gaming. Gaming's cool. Streamers are cool. Now everyone's streaming.
Everybody's streaming, dude.
Everybody's streaming.
And it's funny because Twitch is, not exclusively a gaming platform anymore. It's
it's music, cooking.
It's funny. One of the people that we know from the studio, she started streaming, like one of the dance teachers, but she's not gaming. She just like, it's a just chatting thing, and Jenna always be making fun of her, but
thanks for the donations, guys.
Right. God. Anyway,
OnlyFans here, link.
I almost spit out my water.
I mean, that's what it turns into sometimes, but we're moving on.
Anyway, so let's talk about what you guys think of consoles. Like, what do you think makes a console better than the other?
Exclusive.
Oh, you mean against each other, right?
Yeah, versus. Yeah, generally, it's been Xbox and Sony competing against. I mean, Nintendo has tried its hand at it, but they're kind of like in their own league in a sense because they cater to very like special crowd,
Right.
So, like, what are some of the things that makes a console better? Is like in terms of features, like the interface, like is it the aesthetic of it? Because some people are like, oh, the new PS5 design looks like, the Eye of Sauron or whatever from Lord of the Rings, or is it the controller design? Is it the hardware? For the most part, a lot of the console, the Xbox and PlayStation, tend to be very similar in terms of hardware.
I mean, for me, speaking personally, I think it's just personally is exposure. Like I grew up on PlayStation. Not that I have anything against Xbox, but when I think of Xbox, the only time like I played a ton of Xbox was I would always go to Walmart, right? I was going to Walmart and they have the fucking the screens where you have to look up and you're like hella bending your neck. You're just like straight up trying to play these games, right? And every time I use the Xbox, I didn't like the Xbox controller. I didn't like the games they had it on, the demos they had on it. I don't know, just something about Xbox, whether it was the UI or the color scheme. It was like black and green at the time or something like that. It didn't feel cool to me, right? But then you get like the PlayStation, like the first PlayStation. It was like white and it goes wow, wow, and you get like the orange and then the shapes going all crazy and it's like whoa, what's going on here? I don't know. I think it's just because I was raised on PlayStation, so that's all I ever had.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, I think the exclusives are better too. PS2 had some of the best games out there.
PS2 library was amazing.
Mm-hmm. What about
Spyro?
Spyro?
You're an Xbox boy, so what do you think? What drew you to Xbox over like
Well,
PlayStation?
originally it was because I still had a PS2 for like a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone kind of just grew up on Halo and stuff like that when it came to Xbox, but it was a little bit different in my particular situation, and basically I ended up playing Gears of War and I fell in love with it, and Gears of War was originally what led me to actually get an Xbox, and along the time, like they ended up coming out with Gears of War 2 and then Gears of War 3. Like the whole series, like I feel like it's a lot more nostalgic to me compared to Halo. I feel everybody has like Halo Combat Evolved, and they have the nostalgia from the original Xbox leading up to the 360. But I never really gotten an original Xbox. I kind of just had like PlayStation for like a good minute, and I was kind of stuck in the PS2 era for quite a bit, and everybody else was getting like the new consoles and everything like that, and I was kind of like falling behind. I didn't really care too much because most of the time I was kind of doing a mixture of playing video games, going outside, worrying about school, all that sort of stuff. So I never really kept up with the times in terms of what was new in that era. And when I would go to my friend's house all the time, and then he had like Halo and Gears of War and like 99 Nights, various other games, I kind of just fell in love with the Xbox, so I decided to give it a shot. And I wouldn't say for the Xbox, the Xbox One, but the Xbox 360, like the UI, the dashboard, the party system, like everything was just perfect, like compared to the even though like the PS3 had like free internet and online and that sort of thing, like the party system was garbage. It just seems like it was very difficult to be social on that particular console. It just seems like you were playing by yourself a lot, which I kind of aside from like a select few games, I didn't really play the PS3 that much. My mom still has it, and I kept the 360 because I was able to talk with a lot more people, and there was a lot more growth behind it in terms of it being like innovative in a way. Of course, when the Xbox One came out, like the dashboard was complete garbage, and then it's like everything that was so good about the 360 they just got rid of, and I was like, why?
I think they tried to. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Because I played the 360. I play every console. I'm not really like, I don't favor more to one console than the other because it's like, if it has a dope game that I want to play, I'm gonna play it. Like
Mm-hmm.
the same thing for the 360 and the Xbox, the original one. Like you said, 99 Nights and 3, dope.
Yeah,
I was like, yo, this is the Dynasty
yo,
Warriors for Xbox.
hundreds of enemies. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Gears was there. BioShock was an original for the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the games draw me to it, like it's dope.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the UI came out for the Xbox One S, and I was like trying to play. What fucking game was I trying to play? It's the one with the dude from Lord of the Rings, and he's like can control time kinda. Anyway, I don't remember what it's called, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's like that's so bad. I was like, the one game I got the Xbox One S for, like I don't remember what it's called.
Right.
It was like what I don't know what it's called. Anyway, like the UI for it was ridiculous for me to navigate through. I'm like, wait, how do I get to? I think they tried
It
too
went
hard
through a
to
lot of
make it
changes.
new. like brand new, as opposed to taking what already worked. Like how the PS3, like the crossbar is essentially the same as the new XMB, right? It's just blockier or whatever. It's but the concept is technically the same. They just allow you to do more things. But Xbox like completely changed. So
yeah, it changed the game. It made it to where like, in terms of like because the Xbox One went through a lot of dashboard changes, whether it was for the actual like dashboard UI or it was for the party UI, and aside from like increasing the party limit and that sort of stuff and everything like that, it just seems like everything was like a mess. And I think, when they originally talked about the Xbox One, that, how it was more about like, they weren't focusing on the gaming side of things. And that's probably, it probably led to, why the UI was such a disarray. It was like such a mess. And now, since they're focusing on gaming, that hopefully, the UI, because we haven't heard anything about the UI for Xbox. Because PlayStation 5 showed off their UI and everything like that.
Still technically a lot of XMB too.
Yeah. So, I think like not a lot of people are sold on the Xbox Series X yet, just due to the fact that they're not showing enough. I mean, like, it was already a war in terms of, exclusives and everything like that. I feel like in terms of backwards compatibility, they have an edge. But in terms of other stuff, unless they actually show exactly what it is and, what it can do, they're kind of, on the opposite, they're kind of on the edge right now, to be honest.
I haven't heard anything about the Xbox UI. I've only seen, the fridge. And I don't even think I've seen the controller, but...
Yeah, they showed the controller, they showed the games and everything like that, but they haven't showed anything since. Normally now it's like PS5 has like, what it actually looks like, taking it apart, the UI, like they're showing a lot more than just the games, which would normally be, what we would usually see, like with E3 and everything like that. But now it's come to a point where a lot more stuff comes into play now, not just the exclusive games and everything like that. It's the hardware, it's the frame rate, it's
it's running
the
4K.
games can load. Like games loading, well, and
how easy is it to do this, and functionality and features that it has.
It's a lot more stuff to where it's like, people are acting like we never paid like a lot of money for a console before. And that was to where like people are a little bit more picky when it comes to like their money and which they want to spend. So they're very careful on, making sure it's worth, their dollar now. Like you kind of get what you pay for in most cases.
Yeah. And, when it comes down to it, consoles are just dedicated gaming computers technically, you know what I mean? Like the OS is made specifically to run games. And it's funny because like back in the day, like there wasn't even like a OS. It's like you load the game and then the game pops up, like but now it's like, oh, we want to add features to it now, so it becomes more of like an full-blown operating system. Like the picture-in-picture thing that they showed for the PS5 was ridiculous. I was like, I can watch my friend stream on my PS5 while I'm playing my PS5. Like, it was dope. Have you seen the video call? It's stupid. Like, the dude's like, yeah, if you want to watch your friend play, he's going to be playing this game. And dude was like playing Little Big Planet or something. Then it was crazy. So like you could
actually, I think they showed the UI for Xbox. I think the only thing that they were demonstrating was the fast loading. So like you got a little bit of glimpse of the dashboard, that they never really gone into it. They were mainly just demonstrating how you can jump from one game to another really quick, and it still keeps the same progress. Like if, for example, if you were playing Ghost of Tsushima, and you're right in front of a fortress, then you quit the game and go to Borderlands 3, for example, and then it picks up right where you last left off in terms of that sort of thing. I think PS5 has that sort of feature, but that was the last thing that they demonstrated. I totally forgot.
That's actually pretty cool. I feel like, I don't know,
trying to hop in, hop out.
You try to bet you got a backlog of games. You trying to finish all the single player games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure like when I would use something like that. Yeah. But actually, maybe if I'm like waiting in a lobby for Tekken or something like that, right? And it would take kind of long.
Yeah.
To a different game real quick. That's pretty cool. I can see the usefulness in that.
Yeah, I think one of the doper things, or one of the cool things I saw for the PS5 UI was like that suggestion achievement thing, where it kind of like tells you how much longer you have left until you beat that portion. It's like, it's like, oh, you're at 33% of this level. Like, go do that, or like you can do this, and you click that, and it'll automatically take you to that portion in the game. It's pretty crazy. It's like these little bookmarkers, I guess you can call them,
checkpoints or whatever.
Yeah, not even checkpoints, because it's not something that you have to go to get to it. It's like it's part of the PlayStation UI, which like is integrated with the game. So like they were using the Sackboy game that's coming out, and it was like, oh, you need to collect the monk suit from this level. Why don't you do it? And he clicked that, loaded the level, and then he tried to collect the monk suit.
What? Yeah. That's fucking tight. Well, that's something that the game developers would have to like incorporate, right?
And I think it's gonna be. I think it's very similar to how they do the trophy system. You know what I mean? Like every game is assigned, 60 points for trophies, and each trophy type is allotted certain points. So like a bronze is 1 point, a silver is 3 points, a gold's 5 points, the platinum's like 60 points or something like that, or 20 points. It can't be 60, obviously, but and then it was even like, oh, I need help finding this. So you could even search up like tips like within the game, and it's like you can watch the video while you're playing the game, and it showed him like where to go and stuff. It's like everything is just built into it. So I think they're trying to like centralize everything on the PlayStation, which is why they the whole Discord thing was happening with Xbox. I think Xbox did something where they might have Discord integration.
What? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what they were teasing about that.
How do you guys feel about that though? You think that makes the game a little bit too easy? If is it active? Like, how does it work? Is it something you have to activate yourself?
You mean the hints portion? And like,
the hints portion.
Yeah, you have to activate it yourself.
Oh, okay. It's I was about to say, because I wonder if that would make it. Okay, because I was gonna say, where was that in Ghouls and Ghosts, man? Like when you had to go back to that one level, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You forgot this.
You have to activate it yourself, but it's a dope feature because it pretty much turns your console into a hub for everything. Like instead of having to outsource it, like, oh shit, let me go onto my computer or my phone real quick to check. Like, oh, PS5, like, hey, search up Sackboy, how do I beat this, or how do I find this? And then
it is built-in hints.
Exactly. So like. But I think they even I wasn't paying attention too much to the party overhaul thing. I just know that they redesigned the party system.
It's garbage.
To pretty much
8.0 updated. 8.0 update is full on. They try to make it like a ghetto Discord. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do. Like, oh, you want Discord integration? Fuck that.
Because basically they're making it to where that if because it's usually normally in the parties you can see an icon for like a PlayStation 4 technically. So they're making it to where when the PS5 launches, that you can communicate in party between the PS4, the PS5, and mobile. So like mobile, they're gonna update it in terms of like the app in general, and you're still able to communicate with people in the party even though you're not playing a game like on your phone. Okay. So like if you want to like talk to your bros and stuff like that, it's like, hey yo man, I'm at work.
Because that's what people do.
So it's kind of like Discord in a way where you can like jump in, jump out, that sort of thing. The only thing that I don't like is that you're having to like add people into into the message thing, like the message system that they have. You have to add everybody as a group, and then they can join the party. It's like a whole mess. It's a whole.
I see what you're saying. It's a little tedious.
Yeah, it's a little tedious, and not to mention like you can't kick anybody. So
so
that like the only person that can kick is the one who initiated the group.
Okay.
So like if someone's asleep, like, and like, you know, it's like, man, you know,
right?
Shut up, man.
They kind of made it.
I don't know why you're talking about yourself like this. Is this you on Fortnite?
Damn.
Nah, what you talking about?
This is
but no, like
story.
essentially, like you can't kick anybody without like removing them from the group, and it's just
that sounds pretty annoying.
Yeah,
I think they try to.
It was a lot easier to where like if you like as soon as you click on the party icon, for example, it shows all your friends, what party they're in. Like I guess it's just they're trying to make it more controlled in terms of like who's inclusive in what party, so like no random person comes up in here and starts yelling out something and then leaves the party or something like that. Like it's kind of just alleviating that sort of thing.
I think they try to like merge the whole party group thing and communities.
Yeah,
it's like all one thing now. But
yeah, communities, messaging, and parties.
Yeah,
it's like
it's weird, but I don't know. We'll have to see with how the PS5 handles it, because the UI preview is still very much. It was just a glimpse of how it operates. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah, so
it's a rough behind the edges. I mean, at least that they're not releasing it when PS5 actually launches, because the launch would just be a complete like shit show. I don't know if like they meant to release it early on purpose to like. I mean, it should have went through like Q&A, but I guess they're just doing the QA by using us.
Yeah, I mean,
we're like
that's how it
we're
is.
the testers, even though there was a beta test for this particular update, I guess. And I don't know where the feedback went, or if there was even like feedback at all, or if they just didn't care. They're just like, release it, and it's just like bugged, and some people had issues joining parties, making groups. Like people can't see their friends list. It was just bad all around.
Yeah. It's interesting. I know Sony usually has like you can join like their program, and it'll allow you to test the newer firmware releases before they're actually released. I don't know how much of an impact the community makes, like the testers, if they even make an impact.
Because I mean, you could send feedback and stuff, and you can even invite other people, because once you download the update, you can't join parties or stuff like that, to where if someone doesn't have the update, you can't join them, or they can't join you. It has to be the same people who downloaded the update, for beta testing as you did.
Same firmware, pretty much. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to test it that way. So that's why they allow those who've been selected to invite people, and then spread it so they can actually test it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting much data out of it if it's just like, here you go, test this out. But you can't test it out because you can't invite your friends, or nor can you join the party, since they have the old update.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a common thing though in general. Like, you can't connect to the PSN if you don't have the recent firmware update, or you can't play Tekken if you don't have the most recent update. So it's how it is. So going back to the main question, what do you think makes a better console? So what overall do you think makes it better? Is it a handful of things, or is it like one thing?
I mean, oh no, that's kind of a tough question. I mean, I don't really use Xbox like that, so it's kind of hard to say. But if I had to like describe what I would prioritize, right? I would say exclusives definitely is pretty important. Exclusives and
accessibility.
UI. I would say UI is a big one for me. If I hate the UI, like, because that's what you got to deal with like every single time with the system. And if you hate
for
the
a
UI,
whole cycle
and it's
of
a little slow, or like it doesn't make sense, like you have to fucking move so much to get to like one thing when it only takes like a few actions to get on this other system. Definitely go with the shorter route, right? But yeah, I think that's like the main. And hardware, I mean, it's pretty much at a certain point. I feel like it doesn't matter too much, because games nowadays, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not too big of a deal. Like, it's pretty neck and neck, right? What compared to what you were saying earlier. So I don't know. Main thing's UI for me.
UI and exclusives. What about you, Spyro? What you think?
I mean, exclusives play a major role, but I feel like also, aside from like UI, the ease of use, making sure everything isn't too complicated, kind of, like I kind of put like 360 on a high pedestal just, due to how like the dashboard was easy to access. You can go through it, no problems. The party system was great, you know, like everything about like the actual, system in general was just, amazing. It was, the upper echelon of consoles. So it's kind of like, when they go off from that particular thing and like, why fix what isn't broken? And they're constantly trying to change it to, I don't know if it's like to modernize it or if you're trying to like keep up with the times and what people, think, we would like, or, I'm not sure, but as long as you have like the games, how, the UI is, how the ease of use, and like in terms of over time, I feel like we weren't worrying about this particular set of stuff. Normally it's just like we just play games, that sort of thing. We didn't really look at kind of like the small kinks and everything like that back then. I feel like now, since technology has become more of a thing, that we'd be looking at other things that we weren't used to seeing back then, and so we have like a more of a bigger list of things that we check off just to make sure that it's worth our money.
That's because we're the ones paying for it, not our parents.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
But
that's true.
Yeah, it's just pretty much the same stuff that Qual's saying, and then obviously everybody has their particular opinion or views on what they look for in a particular item.
yeah, it's definitely opinion based.
Some people might be looking at like the frame rates. Like, I want to make sure this shit is at 120 FPS, 4K, even though I don't got a 4K TV, so it's not even compatible anyway. But I want it to be 4K anyway, so it's
I just want the option.
Yeah, exactly. I want to pay $100 for an option that I don't use.
Yeah.
For me, it always comes down to the exclusives. Like, I think, what's the point of owning a console if I can get it on the other console? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's where
that's true.
Xbox One S, or the Xbox One in general, kind of like failed, because every game was either multi-platform, or like I could get it on my PC. If it wasn't available on PlayStation, it was available on PC. Like, that's how I felt. So like even Gears, it's on PC now. You know what I mean? Like the Halo, the Master Chief Collection, they're porting it all to PC. So what was the point of me buying my Xbox if it was all just gonna come out on PC?
Don't get Xbox.
So
right?
And it's not that I think the console is a bad console. I just think they didn't hit the mark with their exclusives. I mean, they took big strides, like we talked about last time, purchasing Bethesda and all them, because now they're gonna add like crazy shit to the library, and they're continuing to purchase their own first party developers, which is good, and that's dope to me, because now it's like, if I want to play that game, I have to get their system. Yeah, that's kind of what drew me to it.
Right.
Like, controls you can get used to because it's just about acclimating to it. UI, even though some may be less, I guess, easy to use than others, it's still something that you can overlook if the games are still good, right? Aesthetically, like, it's whatever. Like, I don't care how it looks, as long as it's not like poorly designed where, like, if I touch it, the whole thing's gonna fall apart. I'm a little worried about the like the wings on the PS5. Like, if the kids come by and smack it, like, is the whole cover gonna fly off? Like, you know what I mean? So, but
don't let your kids touch it.
Don't touch this. See this? Don't touch it. But yeah, mostly for me, it's definitely the exclusives, like, overall, more than anything. That, like, I don't want to say it'll determine that the console is better. It would just be more for me. Like, that's what makes it better for me, I guess. And the hardware, but only in terms of like, is this shit gonna fail on me in 6 months? Am I gonna get a red ring of death or like a yellow light of death? Like, I don't want that to happen because Sony actually handled that very poorly back in the day. Like, even if something happened, you had to pay $150. I think when the Xbox had their little red ring fiasco, like they fixed everybody's for free.
Mm.
Yeah,
it's gonna be pink now.
Well, it's gonna be pink. It's gonna be
pink ring.
Your fan's gonna smoke because it has the whole fan on the top. No. So, do you guys think that, you know how they've been doing these multiple versions of their consoles? Do you think that's gonna be like the norm now? Like, is that gonna be the standard model for things? Because
say it again.
do you think that the consoles are gonna be released in multiple models? So, with the PlayStation 5, it's the same console, right? The digital one is just missing the Blu-ray drive.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Xbox is technically the same, but it's
pretty much the same thing. It's just
a
the
hard
storage
drive.
is different.
Yeah,
it's a smaller storage of SSD.
Do you think maybe like halfway? So consoles generally last like 5 to 7 years. Like that's their lifespan until the next console is either being worked on or announced. Do you think that they're going to do like a pro version, like a Xbox Series X?
Isn't that guaranteed? I mean,
yeah.
They've been doing it for like.
If we're following the trail of
yeah.
crumbs here, then yeah.
Yeah, of course they're gonna try to milk it out. Try to improve on it. I think for sure. Sure. There's always gonna be
Xbox
something like
Series Triple X.
Right. The PS5.
Oh no.
555.
Yeah.
PS5 Lite.
Right.
There you go.
I think that model, to me, I hate it because that's the cell phone model. I don't want to. Well, with the cell phones, I know at least Apple, they pull shit out. They're like, it's the 10, and then here's the 10A and the 10B, and then they keep throwing things back in it. Like, I don't want to feel like the consoles are doing that. Like, right now, I feel the consoles are releasing it as they're meant to be built. They're not like, hey, we're going to pull, the memory out of this one and then release it later and call it the Pro 4 or the Pro 5 or whatever,
Right.
So, but I just think that the whole model to me is like kind of silly. Like, they're really trying to pull the money on this one. The cash grab on it.
Yeah, right.
It increases the price, like, because when the PS4 Pro came out, the hardware was better, the Wi-Fi adapter was better, it runs certain games better. I think when Key came over one time, I have a PlayStation 4, like a second generation one, and then I have the God of War PlayStation 4 Pro. We were playing Apex together, and he was playing my older one, and it had like a frame deficit. It was running at like 30 frames a second, while my Pro is running at 60 frames.
Oh boy!
And you could tell because we were like right next to each other, and I'm like, that kind of sucks because it's like people who are on this old one aren't experiencing the game like how it should be,
as it should be,
because the hardware difference. And at that point, I just feel like they should just call it something else. You know what I mean? Like why call it a PS4 Pro? Change it up.
Right. I don't know. I mean, that you make a good point, but at the same time, it's like it probably would be too much of a. It wouldn't have changed enough to warrant it being called a PS5, right?
Right.
Like the PS4 to like the PS4 Pro. Like, it would just make more sense to be like, yeah, it's upgraded PS4. New technology,
true,
better stuff, and then of course the games are gonna be based performance-wise on the newer one, right?
Yeah.
They're not gonna try to build for the older. Some, I mean, they might, but yeah, I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, I definitely think they're going to release a PS5
something,
plus
right.
or something,
Yeah, I just see it like they're trying to repurpose the system just to re-up the price again,
Right.
But I guess at the same time, it also pushes the original one down in price. You know what I mean?
That's true. So like it would make it more accessible for the people that don't need those, that little extra, the extra zing or whatever.
Yeah, that little extra power.
Yeah, because I mean I didn't need it. I mean I don't think I ever got a PS4 Pro. Yeah. I just got the regular PS4. That was good for me.
I have the double lines.
Netflix works fine on it,
Yeah. That's like your smart TV. I don't have a smart TV. I got a PS4. Yeah.
Actually, I do have a smart TV,
but it
doesn't have Crunchyrolls.
Oh,
it doesn't have Crunchyroll. It doesn't support Crunchyroll. I don't know why newer TVs don't.
You gotta mod it, man. You gotta mod it. Spyro, do you have anything else to say about consoles coming out? Let's go around and say, are you purchasing? What are you gonna purchase first? It doesn't need to be right at launch, but what are you leaning towards more, PS5 or the Xbox S
PS5?
Word. What about you, Khoa?
Yeah, that's a PS5 for me for sure. I mean, I don't want to call myself a PS fanboy, but I haven't touched Xbox, so I can't really say anything. Not at launch for sure, but that's me.
Yeah.
What about you, Digz?
Same. I'll eventually get the refrigerator, but I already have 3 of them in the house. And I'm just yeah, it's PS5 for me for sure. Word. All right.
Guess I'll see you guys on PS5 in a few months.
PS5, right? Thanks again for watching Across the Spectrum, episode 4. I'm your host, Digz.
Spyro.
My name is Khoa.
Alright, guys. Peace out.
Later. Bye, everyone.